Hello and welcome to my channel, Linux World. Today we're going to be looking at on how to install Red Hat Linux 9 on a virtual machine in my home lab here. So let's get started. First thing, we're going to create a virtual machine inside my host here, which is a Dell EMC server. Click on Actions, New Virtual Machine, create a virtual machine, give it a name. Select the data center, select the host, which is my Dell host, select the storage where it's going to reside. This is fine. It's going to be a Linux machine, and then select Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Default CPU memory of 2 GB, 1 CPU, 16 GB hard drive. And the virtual network as VM network is fine for me. That's what I have set up in my lab. So let's click next. Everything looks good. Click finish. So we have the virtual machine ready. Now the next thing you need to do is obtain a copy of Red Hat Linux 9 image, which you could do from redhat.com as an evaluation version, or you can create a developer's account there. And once you create that account, you will get access to download their operating systems, which you can deploy up to 15 machines. Okay, so I have already downloaded that image here and uploaded it to my vSphere, which is this is my enterprise VMware software to deploy virtual machines. So if I go to the storage view here, under my storage view, I have a master data store. Under that, I have a folder called ISO files, and I have my Rhel 9 image here. Rhel stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So as you can see, this is a dvd.iso. It's same as a physical DVD, but in a file format, right? Okay, so we're going to use this to install Red Hat Linux on our virtual machine. So let's go back to the virtual machine under host and clusters view. We created a test VM 00. This is our VM. It's a virtual machine. Okay. Click on Actions, Edit Settings. Click on the CD DVD drive. We're going to use a data store ISO file. Click on my master data store, ISO files, and then we'll select the Rhel 9.1 image dvd.iso. Click OK. Click on Connect and press OK. So we have now put the Rhel 9 operating system DVD into our DVD drive, all virtual. Now what we'll do is power on this machine. And as soon as it powers on, we will launch the web console so we can see what's going on in here. So as you can see, it picked up our ISO image, and I'm going to select the first option, install Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9.1. And we will wait for it to move forward and give us some options so we can see what's all there is available during the install process. Okay, so right about now we should see a nice graphical user interface, and then it will all make sense. Okay, so to click here inside this box somewhere so you can get access to this So now, as you can see, you got to select your language. I'm in United States English. Click continue and just hold briefly for it to move to the next screen. So you can see that under localization, you have options to select your keyboard language, language support, date and time zone. And under software, you can connect to Red Hat. If you have a developer's account, once you create that, you can use that user ID and password to connect to it, so you can download software and get updates. Our installation source is our local ISO image on our vSphere. And then you can select the software that you want to install during the installation process. And under system, you can select the installation destination, which is your local hard drive that we have given to the VM during the creation of the VM. And KDump is a feature that, let's click on that, that allows you to dump some system information, and you can use that to provide to Red Hat for troubleshooting. We're going to go ahead and disable that. Since this is a test system, we don't need to do any further analysis or troubleshoot. And then under network and hostname, this is where, as you can see, I have a physical wire connected. It's all virtual, but it shows a nice view here. So it gets an IP address, and you can give it a host name. We're going to give it the same host name as the VM name, test VM00. Click on done. Under security profile, I'm going to uncheck that radio button, turn that off. We're not gonna select any security on the system since this is a test machine, but here is where you would select a security profile. We will talk about that in detail in other videos. Okay, so let's go back up here under system. The first option was installation destination. We will uncheck this and check it again, so it picks up automatic configuration of our partitioning of our disk. This is very good practice if you're just starting off and doing the installations for the first time and practicing. Let's just go with this. So it automatically partitions the disk layout and installs the operating system. So this is a 16 GB hard drive that we have given to our virtual machine. That's the only one. Click on done. So it says right here, automatic partitioning selected. Okay, under software select section, we're not gonna connect to Red Hat right now. We will do that after the installation. Installation source is our local media, and software section, you have now the options to select what type of packages do you want to install, what type of machine this is going to be, right? For what purpose and use. So you can do a server with GUI, which means mostly used on a laptop machine if you want GUI. But on Linux servers, we don't usually install GUI. So we have other options here like a server, and you can select on the right hand side pane, you can see a bunch of software available, which will be installed if you check it. Like a mail server, it'll be installed during the installation process. We're not going to do that right now. We will go with the minimal install, basic functionality, and then later on we can use the command line to install any other packages as needed. So that's the best way to do it. If you're learning, you will learn all the packages and tools that are available, and if they're not there, how to install them. So let's click on minimal install and click done. Okay, so software section is done, localization is done, system is done. Let's give it a root password. The system administrative user is root by default. Let's give it a password. Yeah, allow and check on allow root SSH login with password. Since this is a test system, I'm allowing this root user to log in from different machines remotely. SSH is what you use, secure shell login. Okay, let's create another user account. Let's call it Tom. Make this user administrator. Give it a password. And click done. It's always good practice to create another local account. And click on begin installation. So simple as that. And we will come back once this is all done. Okay, so the installation has been completed. So as you can see at the right hand side bottom, it wants us to reboot the system, so we will go ahead and reboot it. Click on that, and let's wait for it to get rebooted, and we will then log in with the root account and make sure that we are able to log in. So the system is rebooting. As you can see, if I go back here, this is the test VM, and we are in the console. Okay, so since we installed a minimal Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, we don't get a GUI, but we get a command prompt. So we will log in through the console here as user root, give it the password that you had set during the installation process, and log in. So as you can see, if I run a command called ID, I could see the output that the UID is 0, which is the default UID for user root, and the GID is 0 as well, which is the group ID of the default user root. Okay, so that's the ID, and now what we have to do is we have to do the initial configurations after the install. There are some settings, just like you install any operating system, you have to do some settings after the installation process, such as add some user accounts that are going to be using this system, set up the firewall and security settings, or turn them on or off, network settings if needed, enable or disable some services that are running on the system, update the system to the latest patch level, add or remove some repositories on a Red Hat system. You have to register to Red Hat to get those packages and security patches. So we will do all those settings in the next video. For this one, this is just a basic VM creation and Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 installation. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.